Hi, my name is Lauren Youngblood. I'm a current student at Liberty University earning a master's degree in communications. This is my fourth course and I'm eager for it to be finished, but I'm eager also to conclude the course learning a lot about interpersonal communication. So today I'm going to discuss with you about what a expectation violation theory is about, what it is, what the history is behind it, how we can apply it to the real world, and that way we can both learn something together. So the creator of the expectancy violations theory is Judy Bergen, and she was born in 1948 in Iowa, so she's not but maybe in her 70s. She earned a doctorate degree at West Virginia University with a degree in communication and educational psychology. So one thing I found out doing my research is that Judy is still around. She's actually still a current academic professor of communication, family studies, and human development at the University of Arizona, which is where she currently resides. So I thought it was kind of neat that this theory is more of a recent theorist that developed it as opposed to it being made in the 1800s, where it's kind of hard to be relatable and read a lot of articles and do research on it that makes sense. So Judy actually has published 240 articles and has written 7 books, so she qualifies as successful in my book. In her research, it was interesting because she linked several theories together. So yes, the expectancy violations theory, which we're going to talk about a little bit more, but also the interpersonal adaptation theory and the interpersonal deception theory. So I came across a lot of that when I was doing my research, and it was it combined all 3 of them because they're all kind of intertwined and connected somehow. So the main points of this theory, the expectancy violations theory, which is commonly referred to as EVT, is a theory that attempts to explain someone's reaction to unexpected behavior. So when someone consists of high expectations on a certain situation, and when the assumption does not go as planned, it forms an expectancy violation. So I'll give you some examples later, so just hang with me. Within the EVT theory, we have 3 different factors. We have one, which is the context of behavior in social situations. What's the environment like? What's the actual situation? Then you have the relationship, so the communication between the 2 or more that are communicating that create the violation. Then you also have the communicator's characteristics, what the person's like. The assumption is formed when someone has changed and it changes the expectation, therefore applying the violation. So how does this theory work? Well, it predicts the outcomes when specific social violations are presented. So unfortunately, yet fortunately, humans have a natural tendency to expect outlooks on life. So whether it's the situation that they're in or someone they're talking to, we automatically just have a natural tendency to just expect something. The change of those expectations is what causes the violation, which is kind of the ground rules of this theory. So within the theory, there are 3 primary assumptions with EVT. So the first one is people automatically seek to reward others instead of punishing when violations are committed. So I found doing the research that there's positive violations and negative violations, so that kind of touches on that. Behavior violations are a distraction, which we would agree, it kind of upsets the norms. And then evaluation of the violations is important and not to be ignored. Like if a social situation came about and it just needed to be talked about. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple examples of EVT, which is expectancy violations theory, and this will kind of help you apply it to your real life. So the relationship, an example one, a relationship between a child and a parent. So let's say that the child breaks something in the kitchen and is super worried to go up to their parents and tell them about it. Well, if they were to approach the parents, the assumption or the expectation is that the parent would be upset about it. Well, what if the parent is like, you know what, Susie Joe, we are so thankful you came up and told us this. It's okay, it happens all the time. That child is going to be taken back by the niceness or the unexpected approach that the parents took, instead of yelling at them and really getting on to them for breaking a dish. So that's an example of an unexpected violation, and then the theory around it. Another example, which I found to be very applicable, because just like most of y'all probably, is we're in the workplace, so we have to carry a very professional persona about ourselves. Well, let's just say, I know typically you would probably give your boss a handshake when greeting him or her for the first time, or seeing them after months or you're off work or something like that. So you give your boss a handshake and you continue to do that. Well, what if your boss's mother passes away and you go to the funeral and you give your boss a hug when you greet him? That is breaking the norms, and you've officially violated your boss's expectations of what you would have done. So this is all because your boss was used to you just giving handshakes, which makes sense. So now your boss may look at you a little differently and not really know what to expect next time. So that's just a basic example that I found to be helpful when applying this theory. So now I'm just going to leave you with a question. This is how I started and ended my paper, because I thought it kind of got me thinking to start my paper and do my research, and then at the end I was like, okay, I can answer this a little differently now. So what unexpected things happen, when unexpected things happen, what determines if we see the event as a surprise or a disappointment? So I'm going to leave you on that note, and thanks for listening.